What if you were to find yourself caught between the realm of life and death with mere hours before your mortal life ceases to exist and you had no idea how to turn things around? Would you continue trying to figure it out on your own, or would you give in and finally accept the help from that one person that's been desperately trying to help you all along? Well, that is the exact situation that Estee Logano finds herself in from the moment her mother drops her off at the gates at Radcliffe Preparatory Academy. From the time she meets her roommate Posey, who is a certified ghost hunter, complete with all the gadgets for finding and hunting ghosts, things at Radcliffe Academy appear to be a little bit off. But with Estee's father passing away 3 years ago, she's only focused on one thing, and that's following in his footsteps and hopefully graduating from Radcliffe Academy, something he was never able to do. And it doesn't hurt that there's a little bit of eye candy by the name of Mateo lurking around in the shadows. But as time goes on, Estee eventually finds out that even though her father often talked fondly about Radcliffe, often reminiscing about how attending school there was one of the best times of his life, she soon realizes that his abrupt departure from Radcliffe may be for other reasons than he let on. And when Mateo gets her in trouble on the first day of school, when she inadvertently helps him steal a 100-year-old book that's been locked in a room at the top of the school's library for the last 30 years, it's starting to look like her time at Radcliffe may be done when the head librarian, Mrs. Ives, threatens her with suspension if she doesn't get that book back in a month's time. And with this threat hanging over her head, Estee has to work in the library's archives at night as punishment. However, even though Estee is missing out on a lot of sleep in between classes, working in the library, and avoiding her roommate, she does find that she does love working in the library, and it has always been a place that she has always found solace in. Unfortunately, the library doesn't stay very welcoming. It starts to become a bit scary. There's these dark shadows showing up in the corners, and there's this singing that Estee's hearing that nobody can explain to her where it's coming from. And when she finally does run into Mateo, when she goes to ask him about the book, she turns a corner and he appears to have disappeared into the walls of the library. And when Estee does find that book of empty pages that Mateo stole, she finds out it's nothing but trouble. Evidently, the only reason why that book was created was to summon dark spirits to eat away at her soul. And if she wants to live, she's going to have to do something she hasn't done in a long time, and that's let other people in and ask for help. So I did enjoy reading The Library of Shadows by author Rachel Moore. However, there was a point at the beginning of the story where I started to wonder whether or not I was reading the correct age group, because the narrator's voice was kind of young, and I thought maybe I was reading a book meant for a 5th grader. However, the author threw in a couple of FUs, a few BSs, and a passage about Estee wearing a thong, so she put me right back on track. So one of the areas I would have liked for the author to have focused more on was the relationship between Estee and Posey. If you read the book, Posey is a very unique character. She's very hijinks, and I would have liked to seen them together more for me to have gotten to know Posey's character a little bit more. But I do understand that she was focusing more on Estee and Mateo's relationship because Estee had lost her father, and it was easier for her to have focus on a relationship that maybe she couldn't have had versus one that she was sure to have had, because once her father passed away, Estee had become more of a loner, so being with Mateo was easier for her. And there was one major issue that I did have with the story. If you have seen any of my videos on creative writing, I talk about pacing. I talk about an author creating sort of a cadence within the story. For instance, in this story, the majority of the sentences are the same length. And when an author has the sentences continuously the same length throughout the story, it makes it kind of boring, regardless of what the subject matter is. If all the sentences are the same length, it makes it hard to get to the end of the story. Imagine if you had a song where the tempo was the same length over and over again. Say, for instance, if it was da 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 da. Eventually, even though that sounds good at the beginning, it's going to get a bit boring and you're not going to want to make it to the end of the song. But if you start to change up the tempo, da 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 da. If you have different tempos within the song, that's going to make the beat better. That's going to get you moving. That's going to make you want to get to the end of the song, which is the same for when you're writing a book. Even though it's prose, there should be some kind of tempo. There should be some kind of cadence within the story. So other than the pacing, I did like the story. However, I thought the ending was kind of cheesy and predictable, and not predictable in that I knew what was going to happen, even though I kind of did. Predictable as in that story has been told 100 times. Can we do something different? I mean, I don't want to give the ending away, but it's kind of a Sleeping Beauty moment where the knight rides in just at the last minute to save the princess. And so even though I did have a little issue with the pacing of the story and I found the ending to be a bit predictable, I did like the Library of Shadows. And if you are somebody who likes ghost stories with a little bit of teen love story and a little bit of coming of age thrown in, then I suggest you pick up a copy. So that's all I have for you guys today. And until next time, you guys take care, stay safe, and try to do something nice for a stranger so we can all do our part to make this world a better place.